Hey everyone, Omar here. Today we're going to talk about the brand new TILTA Cage for the Canon PowerShot V1, which is probably my favorite camera that's come out in a long time, mostly because it's just really small and a really good video tool. And I just keep it in my backpack at all times because if I'm carrying a big camera and I want to talk about the big camera, this is just easier. It's a point and shoot camera. And now it has a nice grip. So a few weeks back, I put out a video on my favorite camera accessories for the PowerShot V1, and this L bracket was one of them. And the reason why it made the list was because there was no cage. Now we have this, which it's the best cage because it's the only cage right now. I do like it. I think it's very aesthetic. It does have a few things that I do want to flag though, and we're going to get into that along with what I like about this. First and foremost, I bought this with my own money, and I was going to make a review real quick, but I decided just to carry it with me for a couple of days because I wanted to get a feel. I had this one particular issue with it that kind of went away, but we are going to touch on it because I figured if it became a problem for me, it could potentially be a problem for you. So first, the obvious good. Like I said earlier, this looks really, really, really good. I like the wood hand grip here. It has a pretty good texture without being like overly woody, and it's sealed pretty well. Initially, I wasn't a fan of the whole retro design because this isn't a retro camera. But after actually getting it onto the camera, it looks pretty good. And of course, more importantly, the grip is great. That's going to be the most important takeaway for this. It's secure at all angles. It's not as fatiguing. The PowerShot V1 on its own has a really good grip, so I wasn't too sure how much better this would get, but this is really good. So if you're walking around and you have this in hand all day, this makes it considerably less fatiguing and just, again, overall easier to grip, more surface area. So if you're taking B-roll, it's going to be a little more stable if you're worn out. Like, it's not leaps and bounds, but just the little details are really nice. Now, something I do want to bring up is that this is called a cage, but it's not really a cage. To me, a cage is what I have on pretty much all my cameras. It has mounting points on the bottom, of course, but then it also has them on the side and, more importantly, the top. This is what it has up top, and there's the cold shoe that I removed over here. We'll talk about that in a second. They do add these little ends, and it's a natural fit for the Peak Design anchors. I don't know about you guys, but I use Peak Design straps for pretty much everything. And it looks nice, but as far as functionality goes, there's not a lot there. Like, if you were to remove this, you would still have all the benefits of this cage because the bottom has the built-in Arca Swiss plate, which I do wish they kind of extended all the way through. You can see in the back how it goes along the entirety of the base. In the front, for some reason, it stops right here. And that's a little annoying when you try to mount it onto a gimbal like the DJI RS4. I just wish they continue that all the way. Not a super big deal, but it is something worth noting. The other thing, and the reason why I don't call this a cage, is that I have no side mounts here at all. There's nothing there. And here, which is really the only reason why I'm not properly chirping it, it does have a 1/4-inch screw here, and it's got the proper openings if you want to screw in a magic arm, so it's anchored pretty well, or you want to hang it off a magic arm, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing when I'm recording in the car. So it does solve that problem for me. I do wish they had something up top, but ultimately it's the best solution on the market right now because there is no other solution. Unless, of course, again, you're willing to go with the 3-legged things, the really, really good L bracket, but it's still an L bracket. And you have to have gaps in to run your wires. I covered that in the other video. Ultimately, for what it is and for the price, I'm not going to return it. I like it. It also comes with a very cool designed little multi-tool. Let me get the autofocus. Of course, now the Fujifilm focus is fine. It's engraved with like TILTA's logo and stuff. I like it. It works pretty well. Magnetic base here, so it slides there. You have it at all times in case you need to tighten this or you want to pop it off the handle. They don't have a tool built in for these smaller than typical Allen keys here. It's probably going to be really hard to see. So these are a lot smaller than you would have in most multi-tools, specifically the small rig multi-tools. And there's no real way to loosen them or tighten them unless you have that particular size on you here, which they do include. Obviously, they include it, but it's not something that you're just going to have lying around in your pocket. I keep mine in my little camera bag for this, and I suggest you probably do the same thing just in case you have any issues when you go out there. Do I anticipate any issues? Absolutely not. It's really secure. but just throwing it out there. And since we're talking about the screws on the top plate, I do want to bring up my only issue with this, and it is the top plate. So there is a cold shoe here, or was, because I removed mine since it gets in the way of me using the multifunction shoe right here. Now, I don't know why TILTA does this, and if anyone from TILTA is watching this, I do have a request. I returned the cage, the retro cage for the Fujifilm X100VI because it killed access to the hot shoe. And reducing the capabilities of a camera and the functionality of a camera with one of your accessories that's supposed to augment the experience is not the way to go. I didn't even notice it in the photos before ordering, but the top plate on that one covered the hot shoe completely. So when I placed the order for this one, I saw that they still had the plate up top, but I'd figure I'd try it out and see if it was as big a problem as the X100. Although because this was pre-ordered, the return process would be kind of a pain in the butt. So, you know, took the risk there. And I'll say this, if you remove this, you get access to this port. It's just not perfect. What I do wish they did was that they thinned this out a little more. I'm gonna see if you can actually see this. So if you look, the cold shoe, the multifunction port is here, and then the actual top plate is still elevated a little too much above it. So initially, and this is why I actually tested it out for a week before doing the review, because I figured, hey, it's a cage, I can do a review in 3 seconds. I've been using them for 10 years. The two main accessories that I use on this, which is Canon's own multifunction shoe microphone, so you don't need any cables, or their multifunction hot shoe thing, which you plug it in there and then you can use whatever external or on-camera flash you want. Super, super cool, especially on this camera, by the way. I should probably do a video of that at some point. So I've got plenty of B-roll to overlay, but I want to put this on here to talk about it. So this, for example, is the multifunction adapter, the hot shoe adapter. Slides into the multifunction port. I know, questionable design. And now with that cold shoe removed, it fits. The thing is, so when you're tightening it, there's a little extra resistance right there. And when I first put it on, I think you can still see it here, it's not exactly level. It's rubbing too much against this side. And that probably isn't good for the longevity of the camera, the longevity of the port, or maybe the metal brackets that are holding this down there. But right now, this is how it is. And it's the same thing with the microphone. This is the microphone. Really handy. I used it in my Build Expo little interview with Small Rig and their new cart. And I like that thing. And I'm a little hesitant because it's kind of an expensive microphone to toss it onto this with this much pressure on the corner. You see everything, it's just a bit, and it looks like it's so hard to see, but it looks like it raised this just a little bit on that side. So if I were to give them some advice, I'd say finish out whatever stock you have of these and grind this top plate down. I might actually grind this one manually myself, but make it thinner so that this, like the sides of the ports here, aren't rubbing up against this and you have just a smoother experience. And that way you're not really endangering or introducing any kind of failure point to your camera, because it's expensive. Like with tariffs, this thing's like $3,000 now. It's probably like a little under $1,000, but the prices have been going up on this already. And this camera probably won't be replaced for at least another 4 years, I'd imagine. So it's worth considering making a version 2. Part of me wants to just leave it like this because it sits pretty well if you don't do the lock, but then it also pops off a little too easily. And while I know that a lot of people probably aren't going to be using these accessories, clearly I do. And if I do, I'm going to assume someone else does as well. For the microphone, I own that microphone already. The audio controls are really handy when you connect that to Canon's multifunction shoe. If you shoot on other Canon cameras, you probably already know about this. If you don't, probably one of the best shotgun microphones you can buy, but you can probably get any other microphone you want or use the DJI wireless mics and you'll be fine. And if you're that person who's going to end up using a cabled mic or the DJI wireless mics, then keep your cold shoe on. I think it's better than mounting it onto this thing. But for me, I like shooting with flash. Like I really do enjoy on-camera flash and off-camera flash because you can mount the trigger onto this and then you can use something like this wirelessly if you want, kind of like you would with a regular speed light. And that's kind of why, like that's my only negative takeaway, my true negative takeaway of this this cage. Really, it's a camera grip, but it's just this top part, and I might take this top plate off if I feel like it's wearing on this thing a little too much. You see how well that works? It just changes the whole dynamic of the camera. Like, it's super cool, especially since this is a larger micro four thirds sensor, but going off topic here. But that's it. That's the only negative takeaway I would have for people who still want access to the multifunction shoe. I'm glad they thought at least of a way around completely making people lose it by having the cold shoe screwed in here. And that's pretty much it. I mean, this is kind of long-winded for a cage review or a grip review, but we don't really have a lot of accessories for some reason. I gotta be honest, I'm shocked TILTA came out with something before Small Rig did, and the price is great for it too, so this is really an opportunity for them to kind of like take a little bit of that market share away from Small Rig, especially for the smaller point and shoot cameras for content creators. And in truth, if you're from TILTA and you're watching this, release a full cage. People will buy the full cage. If it's well designed for like 80 or 90 bucks, they will buy it because this is a really powerful camera. And at that price point, it's less than 10% of the price of the camera itself, so it's a reasonable investment for something that'll last for the life of the camera. That's all I really had to say about this. It's a short week. I only made the video because this is an accessory you don't really see out there, and I know that a lot of us who shoot with this particular camera are looking for it. You don't really see cage reviews for specific cameras. So if this video did help you make a decision one way or another, drop a like, subscribe, and as always, catch you at the next one. See ya.